Good morning, everybody. It's Pastor John with another edition of Monday Morning Quarterback. So yesterday we began a new sermon series called The Words of the Prophets, and it's essentially going to be a brief foray into some passages from the book of Isaiah with one small detour into the adventures of the prophet Elijah. But it's really going to be an exploration of hope. That's what this series is really going to be about. Hope, especially in troubled times. Yesterday we began the series with a sermon called You Are Cordially Invited. And the whole point of the sermon was really to pose the question, to ask the question, what would happen if we stopped thinking of people who are different from us as problems to be solved? What if instead of spending our energy trying to exclude people, we use that same energy trying to develop ways just to include as many people as we possibly could? What would happen if we focused our energy and our time in making room for people rather than trying to keep doors shut to other people? How would that change our attitude? How would that change the world? Well, for the better, I think. We might draw ourselves and others closer to God. We might finally be the church that God calls us to be. Because let's be honest, folks, the church, while we like to talk about open doors, we've closed our doors to a lot of people for many, many years. So what if the church really became a place of radical hospitality? That would be something. That would really be something. Now in the bio here, I'm going to include a link to a group called Access Outdoors. And I heard a talk last week from the founder of this group, a man named Austin Nicasio, who talked about making the outdoors themselves accessible for people who are disabled. And I was so moved by his talk that I literally kind of rewrote my sermon after hearing it to kind of change the focus a little bit. So I'd like you to check out their website. And for one thing, it's a perfect example of what I was just talking about. But two, see if there's some way you can support their work to make the outdoors accessible to people with handicaps. I think that's a beautiful and righteous thing. And I hope we can all do more to get involved in welcoming everyone. Have a great week, my friends. God bless.